I've got UFC bantamweight Louis Smolka joining me now, and it's fight week, and we're talking to you, man. I appreciate you carving out some time for us, but how's things going? A hectic time for you, or are you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there, man. It is what it is. The whole world's going through this, and I'm just doing my best to roll with the punches. It was pretty hectic at first, with fights being canceled, with the quarantine, with everything getting shut down. It was pretty scary. I was scared just like everybody else. I was worried about what the world was going to turn into. But it seems like everything's kind of getting back to normal, especially, with live sports coming back. It almost feels like the world's turning again.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. And during the quarantine, before during the pandemic, before you got this fight announcement, this fight offer, were you kind of, staying ready? When did you throw your name back in the pot, so to speak, to take a fight?
I put it in immediately. Like from when they announced they were canceling, to when they announced as soon as they announced they were rebooking, I called Jason House, my manager, and I was just like, bro, like, put my name in there. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I felt like I had to do something,
Yeah. Was it frustrating at all, kind of being a guy that was booked? You were supposed to fight in March and having to sit around for a couple of months and see other people get booked and nobody, no offers coming your way. Was that difficult at all, or did you just kind of take it in stride?
I just took it for what it was, There's other guys that need to fight. There's other guys with families to feed and stuff. I'm okay. Financially, I was down to hunker down for a couple more months. It is what it is. Like, it's just we're in the situation right now where it's only American guys can fight. Realistically, I mean, it's probably gonna have to be like international dudes. Like, I want to assume they're gonna break it up into like your own countries pretty soon. You know what I mean? Like, or like South America gets their own, like, I guess, like, circuit. We got ours in North America. Then there's gonna be like Europe and Asia. And so, like, I was just confused like everybody else. Like, I knew about as much as everybody else, and I was just trying to roll with it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And during the quarantine and leading up to now, what kind of training have you been able to get in? I've talked to some guys that set up gyms in their backyard or their garages. I've talked to some guys that have gym access. So where do you fall on that spectrum?
A little bit of both. I'm pretty fortunate. My apartment complex has like a calisthenic area that's outside that they haven't shut down because it's like open air and stuff. So I've been able to use that. Been running around doing push-ups, pull-ups, all that kind of thing, running laps, and then our gym is like we're having to do like small privates for the fighters. They're not like like the commercial classes are shut down, but for like the pros, the fight team, we're having to do like small classes. It's like you and like your sparring partners, maybe like 2-3 guys, like the mint man, and like that's it. You go, you spar, you roll or whatever, and you head out, and make space for the next guy.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, man. You're lucky there. I know some guys don't even have that, so good on you. And Casey Kenny, you talk about the fact that you're really only going to have American options from here on out for a little while. Casey Kenny's a guy that's also managed by Jason House. I'm assuming maybe a guy that you were familiar with when you were offered.
A little bit, yeah. I didn't even really get to do anything. My coach kind of Colin Oyama, he was like, "Hey, do you think you fight next week?" That's what he told me on Wednesday. I was like, "For sure, my cardio is great. I feel good. I've been running a lot. I feel good." He's like, "Okay, great. You're fighting next week. I already took the fight." I was like, "Oh, for sure."
There you go. Surprise, surprise. And now that that his name did cross your table, or have you studied him at all? Or are you a guy that kind of leaves that up to your coaches, or do you kind of get a peek in and see what you're going to see on fight night?
So for a while I didn't research him at all. I'm kind of starting to gravitate away from that. Knowledge is power. So I watched him a bit. I'm familiar with him. I think he's like a 2-division champion in LFA. I think he held flyweight and bantamweight. He's done pretty well in the UFC. He's fought at 35. He's fought guys. His first two fights, the guys didn't even make weight, and he still won. So I give that dude props, man. He's a gamer. He's about it. He's a pro. He's here. He's real. He's not here for the IG fame or anything. He's here to fight. And so like I give the dude props, you know, and I'm ready to go to war with him.
Yeah, and he's had a pretty successful run in the UFC so far. He's coming off a loss, but for you, I mean, you have the opportunity here to advance to 3-1 in your second UFC stint. Do you feel like this time around you found more consistency? I know you did have a loss in there, but do you feel like overall the product that you're putting out now, you've tweaked those improvements to at least be able to put out a more consistent product?
Um, I feel like I'm more focused. Um, Everything about me is pretty inconsistent. I'm pretty random. Everything that I do, everything about my fight style is inconsistent and unexpected. That's kind of what I thrive in, you know. Thrive in the scrambles, thrive in the unorthodox techniques. So I wouldn't say that I'm consistent in my performances, but I would say I'm far more focused on getting wins and far more focused on like representing myself as a professional.
For sure, man. And I know every fighter's favorite part of their upcoming fight weeks during the pandemic is the nose swab. You'll be doing that next week. And I know you commented on my post last night about the new rules that the UFC put in for this week, saying that you're going to thrive in the self-isolation because you do that anyway. So now that you've had a chance to read through those, I mean, is that something you think will be distracting at all, that you have to go through all these new procedures, or do you think just being so focused you won't have to worry about that?
It's not any different to me, dude. This is just like what I do every day. It doesn't matter. We're gonna fight. You know, me and one dude are gonna fight in a cage, whether the crowd's there or not, whether we're being isolated or not. I isolate myself anyway on fight week. I rarely like there's dudes that go out and they do things, and I mean, like, I'll do that too. You know, if we're in like a new country, like I was in Ireland, I got to go see castles, or like Australia, they had like the Taronga zoos, so like I went around there and stuff. They have a pretty cool ferry system, by the way, in Sydney. Like that thing is pretty cool. But like I'm a dude that kind of isolates myself anyway. Like when it comes down to it, like I try to stay pretty dialed in, pretty focused. I'm kind of to myself, like on fight day, what I'll spend my time doing is I'll clean the room. I'll clean the hotel room and I'll like organize, and I'm doing it the entire week. Like I like everything super clean, super neat, super organized. And so like I'll organize everything. Like I'll fold my clothes, I have my dirty clothes organized with my clean clothes. You know, I have like things like hanging to dry and stuff. And like that's how I spend my time. I'm like pretty clean, pretty organized, and like I don't really leave the room on fight day. You know, I'm just over there just waiting. You know. It's kind of torturous, like in a sense, but I mean, it's what works for me. It's what keeps me focused and keeps me dialed in. So all the outside distractions, all this other stuff, it's not. I don't think it's gonna affect me. I mean, it might. You never know until you're in it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that might play into your hand that you're used to kind of having that style. But I know earlier you said you're unpredictable, and that's kind of the way that you've been, throughout your career. But any type of prediction on how you get it done on Saturday? Any way that you're leaning, how you finish the fight or how it goes?
I'm gonna hit him until he stops moving. I'm gonna keep hitting him until he stops moving.
There you go. Nice and short and sweet. And I appreciate the time today, Lewis. I know it's your fight week, so get back to doing whatever you're doing, and good luck in the fight, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Nolan.